You see, the ancient Greeks, sir, wrote in legend of a terrible container in which all the evils of the world were trapped. How prophetic they were. All they got wrong was the name. They called it Pandora's Box, when of course they meant Baldric's Trousers.
Welcome to episode 9 of the Blackadder podcast, where we're looking at the contents of Iain's pants.
No, we're not.
I am. You okay?
No, I'm very much not okay. This is very concerning. How are you, Jenny?
I'm okay. I mean, we can do it later if you want.
Oh, dear goodness. Let's just move on swiftly.
Another excellent episode, I thought.
Yeah, bring us to the midway point of the season.
Is it? That was the third episode of season 3.
Yes.
All the threes.
3.
If I was a numerologist, I'd be
predicting tornadoes and stuff.
I'd be talking nonsense.
Yes.
Why don't you put out some requests early this week, Iain?
Okay, we like talking to folk about these things, so please come along to blackadderpodcast.com and give us your thoughts on the episodes. This one and the previous ones, it would be great. Both the Blackadder episode and our podcast, whatever takes your fancy. You can chat to us directly on Twitter and on Facebook, actually. We're at Blackadder Pod on both of those, and it would make a big difference to the show if you could help us get a bit more visibility by rating, reviewing and subscribing to us on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, even if that's not how you listen to the show.
Do you have a summary for us, you knob?
Yes, I do, you nobility. No, that doesn't work.
Doesn't work at all. Crack on.
In Nob and Nobility, the heroic endeavours of the Scarlet Pimpernel are the talk of London, much to Blackadder's chagrin. When offered an opportunity to back up his words with actions, Edmund takes on the challenge presented to him. Having acquired a French aristocrat, Baldric and Blackadder are soon in danger, as a revolutionary takes them prisoner. But can they escape with their lives and reputations intact? Or will their cunning plan be revealed?
We shall find out. This week, we start in Mrs. Miggin's pie shop, so we've moved on from her literary salon.
I think it's some kind of French venue now. She's doing all sorts of dancing and shouting and speaking.
Yeah. She's an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah.
She rides the trends.
That's it.
Always at the forefront, knows what people want.
She's got a large French clientele now, following the outbreak of revolution on those shores.
She gives the customers what they need.
Absolutely.
Blackadder enters to find her and her establishment have taken this French twist. It doesn't impress him, does it?
I don't think it likes the French.
No, not at all. Apparently, it is due to the work of the Scarlet Pimpernel, who has been filling London with sympathy-seeking French toffs whose fathers had their heads cut off.
Garlic-chewing, sympathy-seeking, I would say. Or he would say, perhaps. Yeah, they don't serve pies anymore in Mrs. Miggin's pie shop. The French consider them uncouth.
Blackadder doesn't think that her French clientele should be concerned about being couth, as they eat snails and would go to bed with a kitchen sink if it put on a tutu.
Ooh, bold statements of a xenophobic nature there from Blackadder. He asks what's on the menu. Did you enjoy the options available to him?
Remind me what they were.
Chicken pimpernel in a scarlet sauce, scarlet chicken in a pimpernel sauce, or a huge, suspicious-looking sausage in a scarlet pimpernel sauce. We find out later what that suspicious-looking sausage is, and let's just say it's not very appetising.
No.
Unless you're Queen Anne.
Over to Blackadder's kitchen, he arrives in a foul mood and he puts poor Mildred the cat up in the air.
Yeah, I cannot approve of this behaviour at all.
What I would say is that because it does fly up in the air, it's quite clearly cartoon-like.
Yes.
Because it was so extreme, the violence, or so obvious.
Yeah.
You got away with it.
Probably. It kicks off a cycle of violence in the room. The cat goes for a mouse, which in turn goes for Baldric.
Now, who does Baldric bully? Who does he pick on?
Well, he's told he's at the bottom of this chain unless there's an earwig around.
Blackadder is further dismayed to see Baldric's new adornment.
Baldric, why are you wearing a false boil? What are we to expect next? A beauty wart? A cosmetic verruca?
It's a scarlet pimple, sir.
Really?
Yeah, they're all the rage down our way. Everyone wants to express their admiration for the great pimple and his brilliant disguises. They seek him here, they seek him there. Those Frenchies seek him everywhere. Is he in heaven or is he in hell?
And what's that revolting garlic smell? Baldric, what has this fellow done, apart from pop over to France to grab a few French knobs from the ineffectual clutches of some malnourished, whinging lefties, taking the opportunity while there, no doubt, to pick up some really good cheap wine and some of their marvellous open fruit flans? Does anyone know we hate the French? We fight wars against them. Did all those men die in vain on the field of Agincourt? Was the man who burnt Joan of Arc simply wasting good matches? His Royal Highness the Pinhead of Wales, somewhere. I feel almost well disposed towards him this morning. Actor chump though he may be, at least he's not French.
He certainly isn't French.
No, but he and two friends, two familiar faces, are toasting the Pimpernel in French accents, and he beckons Blackadder in pidgin French.
This might be my favourite line of this episode. He says, "Ah, l'adder noir. Come on, Iain."
The prince explains to his friends that Blackadder is brighter than a brain pie, and they want him to help try and guess the identity of the Pimpernel. Why?
Well, he's got some unique insight, perhaps. They think he may be able to contribute. But they want to present some kind of postal order, which I presume will be of a fairly significant value to the Scarlet
I
Pimpernel.
would have thought so, yeah. Blackadder suggests addressing it to the biggest show-off in London. I'm sure it'll reach him.
Topper and Smedley are very unhappy.
Yes, but Blackadder is not impressed. He tells them that sneaking aristocrats out of revolutionary France is as difficult as putting on a hat. So they do take offence to this attitude.
They call this treason. They call the Pimpernel a hero, and they speak out against this lawless revolution.
They go on about a forthcoming ball in honour of the Pimpernel, and the prince talks proudly of the amazing trousers from Snipcock and Turkey that he will wear to the occasion.
Couturiers to the very wealthy and the extremely fat.
Now Blackadder is then wagered 1,000 guineas that he can't rescue an aristocrat from France and present him at the ball, and they think that they have beaten him down with this.
Yeah, but he flips this around and challenges them to accompany him on the trip.
Yes, he says he's off to pack and invites Topper and Smedley to join him. It should only involve some moderate danger, dental torture.
But they have their excuses ready.
Yeah, they backtrack furiously. What are the excuses?
One of them has left their diary behind, and his father has just died, and he's got 10 minutes to get to the funeral.
Yep.
And the other one is the best man at the funeral.
As they back out. After they leave, Blackadder is alarmed to find that the prince is intent in joining him on this quest, as he is eager to sample the French ladies.
Absolutely, and I think we heard at the top of the show a little bit of his performance that dissuades the regent from accompanying them.
Yeah, we did at the top. We also hear Blackadder demoing Baldric when he walks in, complete with dung balls and hair by Crazy Meg.
When did you last change your trousers, Baldric? I have never changed my trousers. The prince is put off because he thinks in trousers like Baldric's he will have no chance with the ladies. And after he leaves, Baldric is also concerned about the trip because he feels that following the regent's reaction, he may have no chance with the ladies.
I think Blackadder gives him a slap.
As he does.
At the door, Blackadder bids farewell to the prince and asks him to let his mother know he has always been alive if he doesn't return. Quite harsh.
Yes. The talk is of an immediate departure, and the regent's very impressed with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
He refers to them as brave liberators and, dare he say it, butler.
Well, yeah, I like this line. Blackadder for once is being quite emotional. And when he says his goodbyes, he says, and dare I say, friend to the prince. But he doesn't respond in kind.
No, he calls him butler.
Down in the kitchen.
Did you get a whiff of potato down here?
Of course I did, yes. We next see them in the kitchen where Blackadder has a plan similar to that of Potato.
Yes. They're going to not go to France, as opposed to Potato when they did go to France.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't actually, but they thought they would. And after a week, they're just going to go to Mrs. Miggin's coffee shop and take an aristocrat from there.
Baldric's keen to understand where he came up with such a plan. Blackadder says it was concocted with the thing between his ears.
Your nose.
But Baldric worries that the prince might find them hiding down there. But Blackadder assures him he needn't, as the prince couldn't find his own fly buttons. And we cut to a demonstration of this upstairs.
He can't even find the arms of his shirts and the legs of his trousers. He's really struggling.
We're back to the kitchen 1 week later.
Yes.
We see a relaxed and content pipe-smoking Blackadder who tells Baldric it's time to pick up the French toff from Mrs. Miggin's.
They hear a crash from elsewhere in the building, and Blackadder correctly surmises the Regent is still trying to get his trousers on, as we see.
Over to Mrs. Miggin's, and a good-spirited Blackadder enters to put his plan into place. He orders lots of French-style food, much to the delight of Miggin's, and asks to be put in touch with a down-on-his-luck French toff.
Yes, and she points out the Comte de Frou-Frou, who is over there eating horse penis.
Yeah, she said he's made his horse's willy last all morning. So Blackadder goes over and immediately gets down to business.
Le Comte de Frou-Frou, I believe.
Eh?
Do you speak English?
A little.
Yes. When you say a little, what exactly do you mean? I mean, can we talk, or are we going to spend the rest of the afternoon asking each other the way to the beach in very loud voices?
Oh, no. I can order coffee, deal with waiters, make sexy chit-chat with girls, that type of thing. Just don't ask me to take a physiology class or direct a light opera.
No, I won't. Now, listen, Frou-Frou. Would you like to earn some money?
No, I wouldn't. I would like other people to earn it and then give it to me. Just like in France in the good old days.
Yes, but this is a chance to return to the good old days.
Oh, how I would love that. I hate this life. The food is filthy. This huge sausage is very suspicious. If I didn't know better, I'd say it was a horse's...
Yes. Listen. The plan is this. I have a bet on with someone that I can get a Frenchman out of Paris. I want you to be that Frenchman. All you have to do is come to the embassy with me, say that I rescued you, and then walk away with 50 guineas and all the vol au vents you can stuff in your pockets. What do you say?
It will be a pleasure. If there's one thing we aristocrats enjoy, it's a fabulous party. Oh, the music, oh, the laughter. If only I'd brought my mongoose costume.
They make their way to the embassy for this reception, and unfortunately things have taken a disastrous turn.
Yes, it's a depressing place, looks nothing like a party, and a dishevelled, uniformed man appears, and Blackadder explains he has rescued this aristocrat from the evil revolutionaries, but this doesn't go down too well.
No, the man is an evil revolutionary.
And he's murdered the ambassador.
It's a very familiar looking evil revolutionary, isn't it?
Very. Foo and this chap trade insults, and Blackadder tries to sneak off. However, he is told that they are party to this anti-revolution movement, and he is asked if they know what happens to people like him.
Yes, he gives a few ideas. He suggests that they are given a little present and allowed to go free.
Nope.
They're smacked and told not to be naughty, but basically let off.
Nope.
And then Baldric steps in with the correct answer.
Which is?
They're imprisoned overnight and then guillotined in the morning.
Brutally guillotined in the morning. I'm not sure if you can get an unbrutal guillotining.
Smooth guillotine. This reminds me of something I read fairly recently about how long sensation remains in the decapitated head of someone who's had their head cut off, because obviously there's some oxygen in the brain.
How long?
It's known for certain, but there are some reports of people, heads responding to instructions.
Oh,
after being
that's nonsense.
decapitated.
No, that sounds like nonsense to me.
Well, you can look it up for yourself.
Sounds like Baldric.
It's not the kind of thing they can really study.
This sounds like Baldric. We'll get to this, okay. Exactly, you can't study it. This is just nonsense, isn't it?
Well, you can't test it anymore. They're not going to let you cut off people's heads.
No, exactly.
But at the time they did, and the people tested it.
No.
Sometimes many seconds of life in the head
No.
after decapitation.
That was just nerves and things like that moving.
Maybe.
Anyway, in the cell, Blackadder has one last attempt at creating a bond with his captor, his old mucker, and claiming they're both on the same side. But the jailer doesn't buy it.
No, he hates the English with their boring trousers and their shiny toilet paper.
And the notion that all Frenchmen are great lovers.
Yes, he disagrees with that.
Yeah, he's French, but he's hung like a baby carrot.
A couple of petit pois.
Frou-Frou tells Blackadder not to fear. The Scarlet Pimpernel will save them. But Blackadder doesn't think so.
He thinks the Scarlet Pimpernel is the most overrated human being since Judas Iscariot won the AD 31 Best Disciple competition.
At this, Frou gives them each a suicide pill that Baldric seems eager to take immediately.
He does. Did you see where he was storing the pills?
Where?
He had one up his ear, one in nostril, and one up his butt.
Just then, the revolutionary enters and pulls out Frou-Frou for a torture session. And when they've gone, a confident Baldric turns to Blackadder.
I'm glad to say I don't think you'll be needing those pills, Mr. B.
Am I jumping the gun, Baldric, or are the words, "I have a cunning plan," marching with ill-deserved confidence in the direction of this conversation?
You certainly are.
Oh, forgive me if I don't jump up and down with glee. Your record in this department is not exactly 100%. So what's the plan?
We do nothing.
Yep, it's another world beater.
Wait, I haven't finished. We do nothing until our heads have actually been cut off.
And then we spring into action.
Exactly. You know how when you cut a chicken's head off, it runs round and round the farm?
Yeah.
Well, we wait until our heads have been cut off, then we run round and round the farmyard, out the farm gate and escape. What do you think?
Yeah, my opinions are rather difficult to express in words, so perhaps I can put it this way.
Well, it doesn't really matter, because the Scarlet Pimpernel will save us anyway.
No, he won't, Baldric. Either I think up an idea, or tomorrow we die. Which, Baldric, I have to tell you I have no intention of doing, because I want to be young and wild, and then I want to be middle-aged and rich, and then I want to be old and annoy people by pretending that I'm deaf. Just be quiet and let me think.
So did this recent research of yours about guillotined heads, did it amount to basically watching Blackadder?
No, not at all. I did some reading on it.
Yeah, the script of Blackadder.
No,
Are you sure?
I am sure.
Your information seems to be the same as Baldric's plan here.
No, it's the head that retains life, not the body.
Alright, okay. So it's a bit later, and as Blackadder lies thinking,
It's like Christmas for Baldric.
yes, he interrupts him with excitement. He believes they are soon to be saved by the Pimpernel, and Blackadder tells him to shut up. Even if he did appear, what would happen?
The guards would be woken as he tried to squeeze his massive swollen head through the door.
Baldric then goes on to tell Blackadder about the disgusting ghoul that used to haunt his childhood home.
Oh, that was a sad story.
It was. Can you relay it?
Well, every night his family were troubled by a visitation from a disgusting ghoul, as you said. It was terrible. Apparently there was an unholy smell, and then a tiny, clammy, hairy creature would materialise in the bed between them. Fortunately, he never saw it himself.
No. Blackadder asks if by any chance the ghoul disappeared at the same time that Baldric left home.
And apparently it was the very same day.
Very coincidental.
Isn't it? A personal ghoul.
Blackadder closes the conversation by telling Baldric that unless he thinks of a plan in the morning, they will be meeting their makers. In his case, God.
And in Baldric's case, God knows. Not anyone who's want to design a word, that's for sure.
He then claims to have thought of a plan and a way of getting Baldric to sleep.
And he knocks him out.
It's the morning. Who enters?
The revolutionary.
What does Blackadder offer him?
A drink with a suicide pill in it. He doesn't take it.
Nope, he refuses before introducing a cackling Madame Guillotine.
Yes, France's worst and most vicious woman.
Or best.
Well, perhaps, yes, for the job.
She tells the revolutionary to leave, claiming that he will be sick at what she's about to do with regards to her torturing.
He's not keen to leave. He wants to see how he gets on, and if he feels a bit faint, he'll leave at that stage.
She says, no, you need to leave. You will be sick straight away.
And he asks what she intends to do, and when she tells him, he begins to retch and stumbles out the room. What do you think she said?
Pencils and testicles.
Maybe flaying the skin off the penis.
Or really? That way you went straight in? Okay.
I think that would be horrific.
Oh, that would be horrific, yeah. Let's move on. Before getting down to it, Blackadder toasts her beauty and she drinks the poisoned liquid.
Yes.
However,
she has a reveal to offer.
Which is?
She's the Scarlet Pimpernel. Or at least she's Lord Smedley.
Yes. So Blackadder asks if the pill can, in a panic, if the pill can be reversed, but the Pimpernel says no, and we see him pass through the phases.
Yeah, there's depression, anger, forgetfulness, joy, I think, and then
happiness, yeah.
Jumping in a corner.
And then death. Yes. So annoyed at killing him, Blackadder refers to him as the Scarlet Git before noticing the door is open and they can make a break for it.
Yes, and as they leave, Frou-Frou's there.
Yeah, Blackadder was happy to leave him where he was, yeah, of course.
And Frou-Frou says he thought the Scarlet Pimpernel had saved them.
And you see Blackadder closing the door, saying, no, nothing to see here.
Baldric's got a terrible fake laugh that he offers at this point.
So back to the palace, a triumphant Blackadder presents Frou-Frou to the prince, and then proceeds to tell his outlandish tale of heroism.
So tell me, Blackadder, how the devil did you get him out?
Sir, it is an extraordinary tale of courage and heroism, which I blush from telling myself, but seeing as there's no one else...
I could try.
We left England in good weather, but that was as far as our luck held. In the middle of Dover Harbour, we were struck by a tidal wave, and I was forced to swim to Boulogne with the unconscious Baldric tucked into my trousers. Then we were taken to Paris, where I was summarily tried and condemned to death, and then hung by the larger of my testicles from the walls of the Bastille. It was then that I decided I'd had enough. Bravo! I rescued the Count, killed the guards, jumped the moat, ran to Versailles, where I climbed into Mr. Robespierre's bedroom, leaving him a small tray of milk chocolates and an insulting note. The rest was easy.
That is an incredible story. Worthy of the Scarlet Pimpernel himself.
Well, I wouldn't know.
I, on the other hand, would. Because your sister... I'm the Scarlet Pimpernel.
That was surprising.
Yeah?
Well, it wasn't really that surprising, but
Not at all.
it was a dramatic moment.
Topper is in fact the Pimpernel, who had been helped by Smedley, and he has an alternative story to Blackadder's, one of dishonour and deceit from a liar, bounder and cad.
Yes, someone who will hopefully end up imprisoned as a result of his behaviour.
But before he begins his story, what happens?
Well, Blackadder offers him a little drink, because he looks a bit shaken, which he takes.
And we see him go through the 5 stages leading to death.
He doesn't manage to tell his story.
He doesn't. A disappointed prince asks Blackadder if he thinks that Topper really was the Pimpernel. And I thought this was a great line. Can you remember?
Well, Blackadder says, judging from the ridiculous ostentatiousness of his death, I would say that he was...
And the prince mentions that he was going to give him an enormous postal order.
And Blackadder interrupts, saying, I would say that he wasn't... And then he explains that the Pimpernel would never reveal his identity. That's his great secret, so what you need to find is someone who would say, absolutely not, when asked if they are the Scarlet Pimpernel. And the prince is shocked. He says to Blackadder, these things are like the Pimpernel. Are you the Pimpernel?
Well, I think he also says that, so what you're looking for is someone who has just been
to France, rescued an aristocrat.
Yeah.
And that's what the prince realises. Blackadder's just done that. Is he the Pimpernel? And Blackadder says, absolutely not, and holds out his hand for the postal order. And for once we get a happy ending for Blackadder.
We do have a happy... Yes. I mean, there have been other happy endings in the sense that he has managed to save his life.
Yeah, like potato, for example.
But I suppose that's just a balance, an equilibrium. He's not...
Yeah, this is one of the few where the high point for Blackadder is the very end of the episode.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this week.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Yes, it's...
Some great performances, great supporting performances.
Some fantastic comedy lines.
Absolutely.
We'll chat about some of these supporting performances then.
Why not?
Lord Topper, played by Tim McInerney, who we have discussed previously.
At length.
His only appearance in
Yes.
season 3.
Also Frou-Frou, obviously. Folk weren't quite up in the uptake with that one.
Yes. Smedley was played by Nigel Planer. Now, we've discussed him already on the Jonathan Creek podcast.
Yes, he was a fantastic guest star on that show.
Mm-hmm. Born 1953, known primarily for playing Neil in The Young Ones. He's appeared twice in Jonathan Creek. We've only met him once so far. Also known for the Comic Strip Presents episodes, The Grimleys, The Bill, Shine on Harvey Moon, Bonjour La Classe, appropriate for this week, the Nicholas Craig Masterclass, Filthy Rich and Cat Flap, and A Rollover Beethoven.
That sounds like it's got a song to go with it.
Another familiar face in British TV was Chris Barry, who played the Revolutionary.
Yes, he's still a big and popular face.
Oh, yeah. Born in 1960, first came to prominence as a rimmer in A Red Dwarf and then Mr. Britis in the British Empire.
Two fantastic shows.
Has been in Tomb Raider, A Prince Among Men, The Legends of Treasure Island. He was a voice actor, impressionist on Spitting Image as well. Coming Next, The Lenny Henry Show, and he was also in The Young Ones. And more recently, he's done a lot of presenting on these robot wars and car shows, machine shows. He's very much into that these days.
There you go. And I think there's still a Red Dwarf revival going on one of the cable satellite channels.
Yeah, it came back fairly recently anyway for a season, I think.
Yeah, but just not on the BBC though, it's on Dave or something.
Okay. Helen Atkinson Wood played Mrs. Miggins. Born in 1955. She has been heard of in other seasons, but only appears in the third.
Right, yes, you're certainly mentioned in Blackadder 2 right at the start.
Has appeared in KYTV, The Craig Ferguson Show, before he became a big shot star in America.
Of course.
Tales from the Poop Deck, Doctors, Your Cheating Heart, and also was in The Young Ones. She was school friends with Ian Curtis from Joy Division. Or I think she was friends with his then girlfriend and sort of...
Is he related to Richard Curtis?
No.
Okay.
Favourite line?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it at the time, the Blackadder Noir.
Yes. I'm going for, we heard in the clip, Blackadder's anticipation of Baldric's cunning plan. Next time we have sense and senility.
Okay.
Any trivia for us this week?
I don't.
Next week I shall expect some.
Well, yeah, hopefully next week my kid doesn't have pneumonia. It'll be a bit easier.
Any excuse.
Yeah.
Well, before we go, the 1st of October 1987 was the original air date.
Excellent. So we'll see folk in a couple of weeks. We've already asked them to do the usual on Apple Podcasts, but don't forget that. And we'll see you shortly.
2 weeks' time. Cheers, guys.
Bye.